Chaos on Burnside. Traffic lights out for hours on one of Southwest Portland's busiest intersections as homes and businesses deal with power outages. Plus, the latest in an alarming trend, another whale washing up on the Oregon coast, this time in Seaside. Plus, stunning video of the heroic moments an Oklahoma principal takes down a suspected school shooter.
The other way! Portland is gonna win! The Blazers are going to the playoffs!
Rip City rejoice! The Blazers heading to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. Find out who they play next. And taking a live look up at Timberline this afternoon, where snow has been hammering the Cascades all day long. Thank you very much for joining us at noon. I'm Tim Gordon. The effects from the storm also being felt right here in the Portland area. This morning, high wind and heavy rain knocked out power for much of the Goose Hollow neighborhood. Although most of those outages have been restored, there are still thousands without power across the region. This is a live look at Portland General Electric's outage map. As you can see, about 2,100 customers are still being affected, don't have their power. And take a look at this. This is a viewer video of hail falling over the Vancouver area this morning. That's actually in Salmon Creek. That was actually shot by my wife, Kelly, in our backyard. And she said about 5 minutes later, the sun was shining bright. So let's turn it over now to Chris McGinnis, who's tracking these hail showers and possible thunder and the breaks in it too, Chris.
Check that. So you've heard of a frost delay or a lightning delay.
Right.
How about a hail delay?
How about it?
Yeah, live. Let's check out the Explore Tualatin Valley camera here out at the Reserve Golf Course and Vineyard. That is hail falling right now beneath one of those showers that's popped up in Washington County. So yeah, it's going to be that kind of a day here. 44 last check in Aloha, by the way. It's chilly. The air mass aloft that is coming in is quite cold, and we've got low freezing levels. In fact, we just had a lightning strike reported with that cell over Aloha. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little closer on that. And again, this is just now working its way south of Hillsborough and pushing its way eastward into Beaverton over the next 10 to 15 minutes. That will no doubt be tracking over the south side of Portland within the next 20 minutes. We'll go ahead and slice through this real quick. I mentioned that the freezing levels are pretty low. They're right around 2,000 feet or so. And you can see that the activity, the lift in the atmosphere is pushing the returns here well up over 10, 12, 14,000 feet. So these are low top thunderstorms, but there's enough lift in them to get that moisture up into the freezing level and then bring it down as hail. And you saw the one lightning strike that we just had there as well. So that's pretty much the story of the rest of the day here across southwest Washington and northwest Oregon. Some showers, some sun breaks. Many of the showers will be accompanied by small hail up to pea size in some cases. And there will be at least the possibility of one or two lightning strikes. There are a few off the northwest coast, then one in the last 10 minutes or so with that cell out near Aloha. Meanwhile, as we look over downtown Portland, we've got blue sky, or at least some patches of blue. It's 48 degrees last check at the airport, by the way. This afternoon, we've got temperatures generally staying in the upper 40s. Mind you, the record low maximum, as in cool high temperature for this time of the year, is 49. We may or may not get there. It's a chilly day out there, but certainly getting peppered with showers and sun breaks through the remainder of today, and then things begin to quiet down a little bit tonight. We'll have a look at that forecast in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Oh, it's traffic chaos. Oh, there's the horn honking. Traffic chaos this morning along Northwest 21st Avenue and Burnside. All 4 street lights at that intersection were out, and our crews saw more than a dozen drivers almost crash into each other. Those traffic lights were out for hours as homes and businesses in southwest Portland dealt with the power outages. Thomas Schultz has been covering this story throughout the morning. And Thomas, how's it looking out there now?
Well, Tim, it's looking a whole lot better, and that's because PBOT added a generator right over here. They also put some flags over there, but you can see those street lights are now working, returning Southwest 21st and Burnside here into regular working order for drivers and pedestrians alike. But look, earlier this morning, this was a big problem and created a really scary situation for drivers. Early Wednesday morning, the intersection of Burnside and Southwest 21st Avenue turned chaotic. Streetlights that went dark in a power outage sparked confusion. Some drivers sped through the intersection like they had a green light. Others treated it like a four-way stop, making an already busy intersection even more dangerous.
This is already a tricky intersection that I walk by on my way to work every day.
For pedestrians like Sadie, it became treacherous to cross the road.
I'm also seeing people dart across the street, so I just hope everyone's careful and keeping their heads up.
And despite near misses like this, Portland police told us they wouldn't send an officer to the intersection because it wasn't an extreme hazard. Though we saw a police car and ambulance drive through it without stopping. Peabody arrived on scene around 9:15, but for hours, drivers were left to fend for themselves. And it's just before 9:30 now. We're just pulling up to this intersection. The lights are still out. Now, our traffic expert, Chris McGinnis, says if you find yourself in a situation like this, treat it like a four-way stop. If there's somebody to your right and you arrive at the same time, let them go first. And he says, really important, always give access first to pedestrians. But you can see here, crews are now arriving on scene. Still a really dangerous situation for drivers.
West Burnside is one of the busiest roads on the west side of Portland, and just during the morning commute, so from 6 to 9 a.m., you're probably seeing 2,000-3,000 cars going through that stretch of roadway.
Chris McGinnis says in a situation like this, quick responses from the city help keep drivers safe.
It's a recipe for trouble.
Yeah, look, it can be a recipe for trouble, just like Chris said. Unfortunately, we didn't have any accidents that we're aware of this morning, but we did see, as you just saw, a lot of really close calls. Now, again, Tim, as you can see behind us, those lights are now on. The generator is kicking in full gear here on 21st in Burnside. And finally, it appears like things are back in working order. Tim.
Well, thank goodness. Thomas, thanks for that report. Well, new at noon, a man has been arrested and multiple guns seized in connection with a North Portland road rage shooting that happened back in February. Police say no one was hurt in that shooting, which happened near North Denver Avenue and North Schofield Street. Yesterday, police arrested 29-year-old Joey Radford and took several firearms. He was taken to the Multnomah County Jail and now faces multiple felony charges, including first-degree assault and unlawful use of a weapon. Well, another dead whale, gray whale, has washed ashore on the Oregon coast, this time in Seaside. According to the Seaside Aquarium, the 40-foot male whale was found on the south end of the beach Tuesday morning. Over the last couple of months, more than a dozen whales have washed up along both the Oregon and Washington coasts. A coordinator for the Oregon Marine Mammal Stranding Network told us earlier this week that many of the whales appear malnourished. He says melting sea ice in the Arctic could be causing their food supply to dwindle. A necropsy, which will determine the whale's cause of death, is scheduled for this week. Well, new exit lanes are open this afternoon at PDX, giving travelers a faster way out of the airport. They're part of a $300 million renovation to make the airport easier to navigate as you move through it. The new exits connect the north and south sides, leading straight down escalators to baggage claim, cutting down on walking and avoiding the concourse connector now. The main terminal exit is now closed, so that stair seating meet and greet spot, it's gone. If you're getting picked up, head to the ride share and pickup area near the rental car center. Well, a pair of lawmakers from California and Texas have resigned from Congress because of sexual misconduct allegations. This after their House colleagues pushed to expel them from office. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Enemies. But what I want to talk to you next
in a new push for accountability, former California Congressman Eric Swalwell, one of two House members who resigned on Tuesday, now facing another criminal investigation, with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department looking into serious new allegations from this woman, Lana Drews, who says Swalwell drugged her drink, raped and choked her in a California hotel room in 2018.
I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
Drews says she met Swalwell socially, was interested in a business relationship, and that while she didn't report the alleged assault at the time, she did confide in multiple people and make handwritten notes, saying her delay in coming forward
Was driven by fear, not doubt.
Swalwell, a married father of three, apologized for past mistakes in judgment while forcefully denying all allegations of sexual assault or misconduct that multiple women have made against him. Swalwell's attorney called all of the accusations false, fabricated, and deeply offensive, alleging they're a political hit job. Swalwell, a prominent Democrat, dropped his run for California governor and chose to resign from Congress as fellow lawmakers threatened to expel him. Texas Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez making the same decision on the same day. The married father of 6 previously admitted to an affair with a staffer who later died by suicide.
I made a mistake and I had a lapse in judgment.
The 2 resignations won't shift the balance of power in Congress, but advocates are hoping for change. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. Newly released security video shows the moment a gunman walked into a school in Oklahoma and is confronted by a staff member. Take a look. Authorities say a 20-year-old man walked in with 2 loaded semi-automatic weapons last week. He pointed a gun at a student sitting in the foyer of the school and tried to fire it. That's when Principal Kirk Moore rushed the gunman right there. Despite being shot in the leg, Moore held the guy down and got the gun out of his hand. Here's the school district superintendent.
Want me the bigger Panther, and he really, and I know the word gets thrown around quite a bit, but he is a hero.
In a recent statement, the principal said he is healthy and recovering. The suspect faces several charges, including shooting with intent to kill. As drivers around the world deal with rising gas prices, a growing number of countries are taking steps to provide some relief at their pumps. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced the suspension of the excise tax on gas and diesel beginning next week. It's expected to cut costs by about 10 cents for regular and 4 cents for diesel through Labor Day. Other countries, including China, Vietnam, and Brazil, have also suspended or lowered their fuel taxes.